Hey there hunters, Lord here, back with another Monster Hunter Wilds endgame set video. In today's video, we're going to be looking at some of my favorite bowgun sets for both light and heavy bowgun. However, I do want to say before we jump into things that this being an endgame guide will include some spoilers for those of you who are not yet to Hunter rank 40 and beyond, so if that's you or if you're just looking to avoid spoilers in general, consider saving this video to watch later when you're ready to make your endgame sets. There's been a lot of changes to bowguns, but there's still a lot of really good ways to utilize them here in Monster Hunter Wilds. So with those things said, let's go ahead and jump straight into the video. So here in Monster Hunter Wilds, compared to previous titles, bowguns are definitely not nearly as overpowered as they have been, but with that being said, with the right setups and skills, you can definitely make them work just as well as any other weapon. So for today's video, I have quite a few sets prepared for you guys, including a Pierce light bowgun setup, a Comfort light bowgun setup, Elemental light bowguns, a really cool machine gun style heavy bowgun setup, as well as an Elemental heavy bowgun setup. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump straight into the Pierce 3 build for light bowgun. Our weapon of choice here is the Valkyrie Flame from Rathian, as it has rapid fire Pierce level 3 when you put on the mods that you see here. Another good option is the Ray Dow bowgun. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that and embarrass myself. It's a pretty good setup. It's not quite as good as the Rathian light bowgun, however, so I would definitely recommend prioritizing that. As far as the armor goes, both the head and arms are the Ebony Adogaron beta pieces, and then the chest and waist are the Arc Vulcan beta pieces, with the legs being from New Udra, also the beta set, and then the talisman is the Exploiter Charm 2. You can use whatever mantle you want, don't get too married to the Corrupted mantle. I'm just testing some things out as far as mantles go. Now, as far as decorations are concerned, I opted for a Pierce Jewel in the Rathian bowgun over a Salvo Jewel. That is because with the rapid fire gauge depleted, you will not get any bonus from the Salvo Jewel, whereas when using Pierce ammo, even non-rapid fire, you will still get the 5% damage bonus. I also tossed in 3 levels of opening shot to couple up with Tetrad shot for slightly faster reload speed and a little bit of extra damage on our first and fourth shots. In the head, we're going to rock a Mighty Jewel, a Throttle Jewel, and Mighty Jewel go into the chest, but you can really throw in whatever level 3 deco you like here. I just kind of prefer latent power at this time of the game cycle. In the arms is the 3rd Mighty Jewel, and then all the level 1 jewels are up to you, but I like Divine Blessing, as well as Shockproof and Adapt for multiplayer and for not needing hot and cold drinks. Then in the legs, you will want the Chain Jewel 3. All in all, for our weapon skills, again, we have opening shot and Tetrad shot at level 3 for a little bit quicker reload speed and some extra attack on our first and fourth shots. We then have piercing shots at level 1, which gives us a 5% damage to our pierce ammo, and then poison duration up comes with the Rathian light bowgun. It also does have rapid fire poison ammo, and just 1 rapid fire burst of the poison ammo is enough to poison most monsters for the first time. As far as the armor skills go, we have Weakness Exploit at level 5 for 30% critical chance on all weak spots, with an additional 20% on wounded parts, netting us around 50% additional affinity. We then have Burst at level 5, and with Piercing light bowgun, all of your ammos will hit 5 times, so even if Burst runs out, you can just shoot again and it will instantly be up. At level 5, plus the 2 pieces of Ebony Adogaron armor, we get a total of 13 extra raw damage on our light bowgun. Maximum Might level 3 gives us 30% additional affinity on top of the 50 from Weakness Exploit and the 15 from the weapon whenever our stamina bar is full. This puts us at around 95% critical chance on weak spots and wounds with our stamina bar full. Then the other skills you see here are either just my choices and decorations or come with the armor. Now, as far as the set bonuses go, we already did talk about Ebony Adogaron's power with Burst Boost 1. Basically, anytime Burst is active, we get another 3 raw on top, so Burst level 5 is plus 10 raw to light bowgun, and then another 3 for 13 bonus raw. It also gives you a little more grace when you're not attacking before Burst runs out. We then have Hasten Recovery 1 with 2 pieces of the Arc Vulcan armor. This is going to give you some health back as you attack a monster continually. Effectively, every 5 presses of the trigger, so long as the ammo hits the monster, you will get a really tiny chunk of health back. I'll go ahead and throw a little clip in the background so you can see. Rapid fire does not change this. It is 5 trigger presses, whether you're shooting single fire, rapid fire, or what have you. And while this isn't game breaking, it's nice to have. It's just a little additional bonus from the armor, and the armor's good enough that we'd use it anyway, even without this skill. Moving on to the comfort set, the weapon and weapon decorations do remain the same. However, the armor is now 4 pieces of the Guardian Arcveld beta set, the head, chest, arms, and waist. We still stick with the Udra Myregreaves and the Chain Charm 2. I've also tossed in one of my elemental light bowguns here just so you could see this same setup with an element setup, but again, the Valkyrie Flame is just disgusting for Pierce, and Pierce is really good. You don't have to worry about elemental matching. So again, the choice is up to you, but this is just an example set. You can always change what you want to fit what you like. Again, like I said, the weapon decorations remain mostly the same. In the head and chest, you're going to want to put a Chain Jewel 3 each. And then in the legs 3 slot, you will want a Flare Jewel 3. The rest of these are completely up to you. All the level 1 and level 2 deco slots are up to you. However, I would highly recommend the 3 Medicine Jewels to get us recovery up, as this ties in nicely with our set bonus to give us some extra comfort, but I will touch on that when I get to the set bonuses. All in all, we have the exact same weapon skills as we had before. We still have Burst level 5 for the additional 13 damage. We then have Flare level 5, which is a new skill here in Monster Hunter Wilds, and this makes creating wounds a lot easier. This will also pair very nicely with Recovery Up 3 and our 4-piece set bonus. And again, the rest of the skills that you see here are either my choice in decorations or come with the armor. Now, with the 4 pieces of the Guardian Arcveld set, we get a skill called Decimator 2, and this allows us to recover a huge chunk of HP anytime we destroy a wound. You can do this by either just continually attacking it with your bowgun shots and breaking the wound, or by popping it with a focus strike, but when you do that, you will get a decent chunk of health back, and it does stack with Recovery Up 3, allowing us to get more health back. But basically, this set allows us to not really need to heal. With Flare 5, we're going to be creating a ton of wounds, and then you can just pop them and get health back. It's a health steal set. It's super comfortable. It really does work for any weapon. If you haven't seen it already and you don't play light bowgun, I do have a video out on this set with some examples for multiple different weapons, so be sure to go check that out. I'll try to leave a link in the top right now. The final light bowgun set I will be touching on today is our overall elemental light bowgun setup. I'll be showing this example with a fire light bowgun and an ice light bowgun. Both of these are Ardean weapons. I firmly believe that these are the comfiest and best weapons to do this with, and this armor is just pretty much nuts for elemental setups. For the armor, we're going with 4 pieces of the Gore Magala set, including the Beta head and legs, the Alpha chest and waist, and then the Guardian Ebony Adogaron Beta arms, as well as the Chain Charm 2. Now, I'm a huge fan of the Corrupted Mantle here for the extra attack and affinity, but of course, like I've said before, the choice in mantle is totally up to you. Now, as far as decorations go, I would highly recommend getting at least 2 levels of ballistics if you can. So I went for a Frost level 3 and Precise 1 Jewel, the Opener level 3 and Precise 1 Jewel for the first shot damage, as well as a little bit of increased reload speed. And then here in the elemental sets, I like a Salvo Jewel because we will only be using element during the rapid fire stage. You will be using Pierce ammo in order to build up your rapid fire gauge otherwise, but that is just a minuscule amount of your damage, so we do not want to spec into that here. You can see the same thing with my fire bowgun. Ideally, you're going to want to just go for whatever will get you element attack level 3, as much opening shot and ballistics as possible, and then of course rapid fire up. For the armor decorations, in the head and arms, you will want a Phoenix Jewel 2. In the chest, I threw in a Flare Jewel in the level 3 slot, but again, that's totally up to you. We have a lot of freedom with this set. The level 1 decos are all up to you, of course. But then in the other 2 level 3 slots, in the waist and legs, we will want 2 Chain Jewel 3s. All in all, again, we will have 3 levels to our element attack, 3 levels to opening shot, 2 levels to ballistics, and 1 level to rapid fire up in our weapon. Then for the armor skills, we have Burst at level 5. Again, this is giving us only 10 extra raw damage, but elemental ammo does scale pretty well with raw, and it does give us an elemental boost. However, because I do not know the motion values of every weapon yet, and we haven't had it data mined at time of recording, I'm not sure exactly how much elemental boost it is, but it is a juicy amount. Burst is definitely one of the best skills for any elemental set, let alone rapid fire elemental light bowgun. Coalescence level 3 also allows us to get a lot more element when we clear the Frenzy, which we will be doing quite often. And Antivirus also works well with our 4-piece set bonus, giving us an additional 15% crit whenever we clear the Frenzy. And then, as per usual, all the other skills are either my decorations or come on the armor. Now, the 4-piece Gore Magala set bonus will inflict us with the Frenzy whenever we're in a fight with a large monster, and by repeatedly attacking a monster, you can clear the Frenzy, allowing Antivirus to activate. However, while you are frenzied, the 4-piece set bonus will give us 10 additional raw attack, and then once we clear the Frenzy, we will have the 15% affinity from Antivirus. We will gain a bunch of additional element from Coalescence. We also get 15 raw attack instead of just 10, as well as another 10% crit, giving us 25% crit between the set bonus and Antivirus, as well as 15 raw attack and a bunch of elemental attack. All in all, this set is just really, really insane for any elemental build, but it especially works well for the rapid-fire elemental light bowguns. I'm actually going to go ahead and throw in one other light bowgun set your way, which is a 4-piece Gore Magala setup, again for all the things we just talked about with the additional attack and affinity, so that way you are not reliant on maximum might for high levels of critical attack when using light bowgun. It's going to be the Gore Helm and Mail Alpha, the Gore Vambraces and Greaves Beta, the Arc Vulcan Coil Beta, and the Exploiter Charm 2. And then I opted for the Mending Mantle because I threw in 3 of the Flawless Jewels into the armor, which allows us to have peak performance, which gives us even more raw attack when our health is all the way topped up. Of course, you can change these out if you want. The Chain Jewel is also completely swappable. The only decoration you truly need to make this set work is the Tenderizer Jewel in the chest. Again, with the Gore Magala 4-piece set bonus and Antivirus giving us a total of 25% affinity, another 15% on the weapon puts us at 40, and then we get 50 from Weakness Exploit, putting us at 90% crit, and we can dodge and roll around as much as we want without having to worry about losing max might. All in all, this set hits really hard. It's a little more comfortable as far as crit goes than the first set, and I'm just a big fan of this set in general. So up next is my personal favorite heavy bowgun set. This set absolutely rips through everything in the game, provided you are able to use your guarding capabilities correctly. Heavy bowgun plays extremely differently than it did in previous games. Spread is completely dead. Pierce is pretty good. Normals are kind of mid. However, this set doesn't really need any of that. We're going to be using some Pierce ammo here and there in order to build up our gauge. But the main focus of this set is using the Wyvern Heart Ignition to machine gun mow down monsters. Now you have 2 real options for this. The Gravios Giga Howl will have the highest damage overall, but it does come with some pretty negative crit, so I like to slot in an Ardean weapon here. Again, the choice is totally up to you. You can fit all the skills you'll need into both, so no worries on what you decide to go with. For the armor, we will be using the Gore Beta head and legs, the Guardian Ebony Beta arms and waist, and the Arc Vulcan Male Beta alongside the Chain Charm 2. Now, for our weapon decorations, if you go with an Ardean like me, you're going to want a Guardian 3 Iron Wall 1 Jewel, a True Shot Jewel 2, and then I like a Bandolier / Iron Wall Jewel since we're going to be using Pierce to help build up our gauge. It's the best ammo for building gauge on both light bowgun and heavy bowgun, so I went for the Bandolier to give us some extra damage on our 4th shot of Pierce. And if you're using the Gravios, you'll want to go with a Guardian Iron Wall Jewel, a True Shot Jewel 2, and an Iron Wall Jewel 1. In our level 3 slots, you'll want 2 Tenderizer Jewels and a Chain Jewel 3. And then in 2 of the level 1 slots, you will want Sane Jewel 1s. The rest of them, the level 2s and level 1s, where you see protection and jumping, are totally up to you. Again, Divine Blessing is an extremely nice quality of life skill, and having some evade extender to both close gaps and open gaps, should you need to get away from the monster, is just very nice overall. As far as skills go, in our Ardean weapon, we'll have Offensive Guard level 3 for a bonus 15% damage whenever we land a perfect guard. We then have Tetrad Shot for extra damage when we're using our Pierce in order to build up our gauge. We get Guard 2, as Guard is pretty necessary to help mitigate chip damage when we are using the shield, and we're going to be using the shield a lot with heavy bowgun here in Wilds. And then Special Ammo Boost level 2 to help boost that Wyvern Heart. Since we're going to be running the machine gun, we're going to be hitting the monster very fast, and Pierce is also very good for activating Burst level 5. Again, this is a 13 damage increase since we are at level 5 and using 2 pieces of the Ebony Adogron armor. We then have Weakness Exploit 3 for some extra crit on wounds and weak spots. Antivirus 3 will give us 15% additional affinity when we clear the frenzy, which we'll be doing with the 2-piece gore bonus. And then, as per usual, the extra skills are my decorations or come with the armor. If you're rocking the Gravios Heavy Bowgun, the skills will remain mostly the same. We just lose out on the Bandolier and gain 3 levels of guard up, with the armor skills all being the exact same. Again, we've discussed Burst Boost once, so we're not going to go over that. However, the difference between this set and some of the previous sets is that with 2 pieces of Gore Magala armor, we do not get any additional raw attack when we clear the frenzy or have the frenzy. We do gain that 10% affinity from the 2-piece, as well as 15% from antivirus, so it still gives us overall some very high crit. And this set just shreds. I mean, I'm doing Arkveld in less than 6 minutes with this set. It's super fun way to play. It's very unique, something we haven't really spec'd into in previous games with Heavy Bowgun, and I think you guys will enjoy it a lot. It's very strong, and it holds its own against the endgame monsters very, very well. Now, the final set that I have for you guys is an Elemental Heavy Bowgun set. Again, this is going to be very similar to our Elemental Light Bowgun set. However, Elemental Heavy Bowgun does hit harder overall than Elemental Light Bowgun. However, the new style of Heavy Bowgun in Wilds can be a little bit clunky, so I wanted to give you guys those Light Bowgun options. However, this Heavy Bowgun set will absolutely shred through any Elemental weak matchups. I ran this against a tempered Gravios and was able to kill it in under 2 minutes. I was also watching Fumetto's stream on launch day, and he was able to do it in under 1.5 minutes, so there is definitely some high damage potential here with the Elemental Heavy Bowguns. For me, the Ardean weapons are the best here. Again, that slot efficiency and the ability to fit in all the skills we need is great. We're again running 4 pieces of Gore Magala, the Beta head and legs, the Alpha chest and waist, and the Guardian Ebony braces Beta with the Chain Charm 2, and I really like the Corrupted Mantle for this one. Again, additional attack, additional affinity, and we have a big, chunky shield that we can use to block stuff so we don't have to worry too much about the health drain. As far as decorations go, I like a Bandolier Stream Jewel, a Critical Element Stream Jewel, and a Shield Stream Jewel here. We unfortunately have no way of getting Guard here if we do want to fit in both Bandolier and Crit Element at level 3. However, Guard up level 3 is pretty nice. It'll allow you to block some of those unblockable attacks, but all in all, we have 12 total skills in our weapon, which is pretty insane. As for the armor, you will again need the 2 Phoenix Jewels and the 2 Chain Jewels, but everything else is up to your discretion. So again, for our weapon skills, we will have our Element Attack at level 3, Critical Element, Tetrad Shot, and Guard up at level 3, which are just super nice skills to have. Again, Tetrad Shot activates on that 4th shot, so you're going to be getting a bunch of extra damage and affinity there. And our crit is pretty decent with this set, so Critical Element will get some pretty solid usage. Again, Burst 5 with only 1 piece of Ebony Odogaron armor is only coming in at 10 additional raw, but we're mainly using this for the extra element that we get out of it. Coalescence 3, again, when we clear the Frenzy from the 4-piece set bonus, will give us even more element on top of that. And then Antivirus coupled with the 4-piece Gore bonus gives us 25% crit once we do clear the Frenzy. And that is just super nice to have. Again, other skills, my choice in decorations, or just come with the armor. Elemental bowgunning is a lot more matchup dependent in Wilds than it has been in previous games. There are not nearly as many monsters that are super weak to element. However, I have run this set against New Udra and against Gravios, and it absolutely shreds. I like to run it with Ice against Ray Dao, with Fire against Jin Dahad. There are just a lot of good options. It's very comfortable to use, and if you get good at nailing those perfect guards with Heavy Bowgun, you're just going to have a very easy time shredding through monsters. So that was a long one, guys, but we have reached the end. If you did enjoy today's video or you're thinking about trying out any of the sets, do be sure to leave a like down below to support the video entirely for free. If you liked this kind of content, or if you're new to my channel or Monster Hunter, do consider subscribing. I'll be covering tons more set videos just like this. I've already covered a bunch of the weapons, and we will be covering all 14 weapon types in the coming weeks. So if you want to get in on that, as well as all sorts of guides and tutorials for things that you didn't even know you needed to know about Monster Hunter Wilds, subscribing is the best way to never miss an upload. With all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I wish you all a good day and happy hunting.